We're still in very dire times when it comes to the debt ceiling. We are barreling towards the day when I guess the whole economy falls apart. People don't really seem to be sure about that, but we know it's serious because of a couple updates in the news. One, you got Janet Yellen, Secretary of the Treasury, talking to the biggest bankers in the country, being like, no, this is serious. This is going to happen. We're not making progress. And the June X date, the day where we are no longer able as a country to pay its debts, is rapidly approaching. So if you're tapped into the financial markets and all that, then that's all the warning you need. For regular people, maybe this would be better. Did you know that if they don't make a debt ceiling deal, it could help explode the already horrendous STD problem we have in America? Because the funding that goes to fight back against that, and we're already at epidemic proportions, is gonna be cut. Well, that's serious too. So in any event, we know that this is worrisome. That said, there is some hope that a deal could be struck, but concerns about what form that deal could actually take. So on the hope side, there was a second White House meeting earlier this week, and following that, Biden and McCarthy have both expressed optimism that a deal could get done. With McCarthy saying, I see the path that we could come to an agreement, and I think we have a structure now, and everybody's working hard. The issue for some, though, especially on the left, is that some of Biden's comments about what form that deal might come in are causing some concerns. So he did say, I'm not going to accept any work requirements that go much beyond what is already what I voted years ago for the work requirements that exist, but it's possible there could be a few others, but not anything of any consequence. Don't say not of any consequence, that just sounds ominous. But he is implying there that he could see a strengthening or enhancement, I would say more of a vice grip of work requirements as a part of this deal. And some people are really worried about that. They're worried about what could happen for people who are on whatever is left of food stamps and related programs like that. And this is all stuff that the Republicans are targeting. Now, there's a potential out to all of this, but Brett, I'm curious, do you see them getting a deal? What do you think?
I always see them getting a deal because when we got too close to the debt, the X date as it's called, when we actually have to pay our bills, and if you don't lift the debt ceiling, you hit the X date and all hell breaks loose. We never violated the X date. We got too close to the X date, and it downgraded our credit as a nation and crashed the stock market. So they don't want to do this. And I want everybody to know that whenever you hear the word debt ceiling, you got it, the term debt ceiling, you have to know that it's just a trick. It's just a made up trick. They already approved the money that they're spending. This is just being like, are we actually going to do all of the administrative stuff necessary to actually pay our bills? And the Republicans only make a big deal about this when they're not in power. When Donald Trump was president of the United States, did you hear a single solitary thing about the debt limit or the debt ceiling? No, you did not, because this is just a trick by people on the right to pretend that they give a damn about debts and deficits.
Well, I agree with literally every syllable that you just said. Is it fair to say that the same is also true? And if that is true, then to what extent is it accurate to say that the Democrats are the same way, but in reverse?
No, I don't think so. I think what Biden's doing in this situation is he always likes to be like, he liked when Clinton ran a surplus. He wants to be able to say that because half the people hate him, and he foolishly believes that if he does run a surplus, that those people will suddenly start liking them. And that's a trope that a lot of people fall into. They think they can make folks happy by doing the things that those folks say they want. But the truth is, it is a political decision by your opposition to always be against you no matter what. So if you give them what they want as a good faith effort, you're not guaranteed a return on that. So in the meantime, if that decision to appease your enemy actually weakens your side tangibly, which this would take food out of people's mouths and off their tables, then you're making a giant political mistake. And Joe Biden just doesn't either acknowledge that, or this is confirming all the worst fears of a lot of progressives who think that secretly Democrats are actually the same as Republicans. And this is giving them a good bit of evidence in that direction.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.